Coming up, it's the best of Hampton Roads Business Weekly.
Today, we take a look at some of our favorite entrepreneurs and the advice they have for other business owners.
Hampton Roads Business Weekly starts right now.
What's up, everyone? I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. Welcome to Hampton Roads Business Weekly, a weekly look at the businesses and entrepreneurs making an impact right here in Hampton Roads.
Today, we revisit some of our favorite business owners, specifically our entrepreneurs of the week. We wanted to hear about the problems and pitfalls they have faced and the advice they have for others.
We start with the power of buying local with Allison Dodson Anderson. Allison owns A. Dodson's, a boutique with 3 locations across Hampton Roads.
You have to live this, you have to sleep this, you have to eat this, you have to breathe this. And your customer is the most important person when you're in small retailer.
Here with Allison Dodson Anderson, the owner of A. Dodson's and our Entrepreneur of the Week. Congratulations.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
We're inside your Norfolk store
Right.
in Ghent, and boy, is it lovely.
Thank you.
And I know you've got 2 other locations, Suffolk and the oceanfront in Virginia Beach.
Right.
How do you make your stores different yet give the same quality of service to your customers?
Oh, wow. Well, we employ 2 merchandisers on staff full-time, so they're always making it and presenting it to each customer in a different atmosphere.
Because they're different clientele in your 3 cities.
They are. They're completely different. And the demographics are different, and then the actual person that's walking through the door might have a different personality than the one that walked into Suffolk. So we really try to tailor it just for them.
I want to hear more about your history, though, because you were telling me earlier about your grandfather running a
Right.
general store and how probably you spent much time behind the cash register growing up.
Yeah, we always had a joke in my family that I was pushed up there in like a white wicker carriage and literally sat on the end of the bin while they were pushing down, whether it be nails or butchered meat or whatever. So, to say it's in my blood, it really is. He had a general store called Kirschmeyer's in Chesapeake, where now a McDonald's is, unfortunately. But, then my mother had a little store called Once Upon a Time Antiques, and it was antiques and gifts. So, yeah, it's injected in my veins.
Somewhere in there. But retail has been tough, especially during the recession. It was probably not a pretty place to hang your hat. But talk about the retail industry in general and how some of the frustrations you've had to deal with.
Well, I mean, thanks to the movement like Independent We Stand, it really has I think it's beginning to just kind of break that ice and change the footprint of retail a little bit. For me, the challenge has been to get out and educate our community on those points. I always joke that when somebody comes in the door and they say, "I'd love to do this," I'm like, "Oh, well, here's how you spell my name. I'd love for you to write me the check." However, you have to live this. You have to sleep this. You have to eat this. You have to breathe this. And your customer is the most important person when you're in small retailer, and we do not take them for granted in any way, shape, or form. I can bring the most beautiful product, but if we do not have amazing customer service, then we can't deliver.
That's an interesting point, because we've heard other retailers and other entrepreneurs say that it's the customer service that you and only you can bring.
Right.
But what have you done with the online world? Because with retail, people can go to their computer and buy just as easily as walk to a store, and sometimes they'd rather do that.
Yeah, and I think it goes hand in hand, though. I think what we're seeing is both. Yes, I mean there's that wonderful paid search that you can sell all day long and put product out there. But I think people who actually grow to trust you and understand your brand and have brand loyalty will shop you online as well. And also, sometimes they showroom you. They shop you there first before they come in and actually see the product in the store. So you have to look at it as going hand in hand. You can't do one without the other. I definitely think the bricks and mortar, even though there is the Amazons in the world, the bricks and mortar stores that are going to have an online presence are going to be successful as long as they deliver that good customer service both in the package and in store. for.
And then you have a strong online presence that
do.
offers both in both locations.
Right, and then there's always somebody there to pick up the phone and walk you through that online purchase. So that's great too.
That's really, really nice.
Yeah.
We mentioned that you have 3 locations, one in Suffolk, one in Norfolk here in Ghent, and then one at the ocean fronts. But when did you make that decision to expand, and why?
Yeah, we actually started in Suffolk 14 years ago, and then Norfolk was our next move 2 years ago, and then Virginia Beach last year. And I have to say, I always knew I wanted to expand from day one, but I knew that we had to have some of the logistics worked out first. Distribution is hard, especially when you have 3 different locations. Everyone thinks it's so simple. You just get out there and ship to all 3. Well, you can't. Your tagging needs to be consistent. Your brand needs to be seen consistent throughout all stores. So we had to really kind of get that down, and then hiring more help. We went from 1 employee to now 32, and I wanted the voice to always be the same throughout all those stores. So training them and getting them up to where they needed to be were some of the challenges that we had.
Any last words of advice for other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, get out here and do it. I mean, now's the time with the economy kind of turning around, and there's so many other retailers out there that are willing to help. Use them as a resource. Use Independent We Stand. Use the local Love a campaign going on from Retail Alliance. There's so many great resources. Get out there and do it. Now's the time.
Allison Dodson Anderson, thanks very much.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Welcome back. Up next is truly an innovative entrepreneur who has had a major impact both here in Hampton Roads and on the national level. Here's my interview with Grow Interactive's Drew Unvarsky.
You start a business because you love doing a thing, and then you find out as that business becomes successful, it's about running a business. It's about managing people and managing processes and the like, and that's a wholly different animal.
All right, Drew, you're Entrepreneur of the Week. We're in an awesome building that you call Grow.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, what is Grow?
Grow is a digital agency. We do websites and high-end marketing for Fortune 500 companies.
That's awesome. So you guys employ about 35 people.
That's right.
Now you've grown tremendously. Everyone loves you guys. You guys do amazing stuff. What are maybe 3 tips for people that are trying to grow their business to do in 2015?
3 tips. Okay. So I'll say number 1 is first just embrace the practical answer all the time. I mean, do what's right for you and find processes and tools that get the job done, and don't pay attention to trying to figure out how everyone else is doing it. 2, probably embrace failure. You joked earlier, you've never seen me fail, but you've just never seen me fail. We fail a lot, and we publish all the things that we do as well as we can. Third thing, maybe it's a little bit related to those, but it's just everyone's got an idea and everyone's got an opinion on how you should run your business, and listening to all that advice is one thing, but sort of sorting through and finding the stuff that you like and is applicable to you is important.
Going back to failures,
yeah.
What are some of those struggles and how do you get through them?
Yeah, I mean, everything's complicated in sort of trying to run a business. I mean, you start a business because you love doing a thing, and then you find out as that business becomes successful, it's about running a business. It's about managing people and managing processes and the like, and that's a wholly different animal.
Sure.
So learning that is a challenge unto itself.
What's a day in the life of Drew like?
Man. 1,000 meetings and sort of hopping from one project to the other. Sometimes it's company culture and process. Sometimes it's client projects and work. It's big and little things all day long that kind of keep the wheels turning here.
Define entrepreneurship.
Being willing to try something different and believe in what you're doing and build something out of that.
What's next for you guys?
We're going to keep trying to crank here and build the world's biggest, greatest digital advertising. And while we're at it, we're going to try to have a pretty substantial impact on the community around us. People have seen a lot of the things that we've done. We've built some stuff with Vibrant Spaces and the like, but we actually plan on making that a lot more of a formal part of our business and structuring some resources behind it too.
So for a business that may be growing, there's several struggles that they go through. In the last 3 months, what has maybe been the hardest thing for you to get through?
Attracting the very best talent is it's a struggle for any company. We're trying to recruit internationally, and so showing people here's a place that's doing the best work in the world. We've got incredible clients, an incredible team atmosphere, and then trying to introduce people to Norfolk. It's not a top market where most people who are doing this work are seeing that happen, and showing them what's unique about this place and how it's shaped this company and why that's something they should be excited about too.
So you're Entrepreneur of the Week.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being that. If there's one thing that you could tell viewers about you, what would that be?
About me?
That maybe they don't know, that you don't talk about a lot.
Yeah, I've got a wonderful family, and I try to balance the two. It's a struggle, as any entrepreneur knows. My wife and son and baby to be are incredibly supportive. I love them a lot.
Awesome. Congratulations on being Entrepreneur of the Week.
Thanks, man.
Drew is one of the driving forces behind Vibrant Spaces, a program designed to bring new and innovative businesses into downtown Norfolk. We'll meet with one of the Vibrant Spaces recipients next on Hampton Roads Business Weekly.
The next entrepreneur we'd like to spotlight is Matthew Wallace of Prince Inc. Prince Inc. is a screen printing shop that just opened its new location in downtown Norfolk as part of the Vibrant Spaces initiative.
I spoke with Matthew last year. He had just applied for Vibrant Spaces and was operating Prince Inc. out of the Phoebus section of Hampton.
Our goal then was to be a one-stop shop, and it kind of spread us a bit too thin. We tried doing everything for everybody, and it didn't really work out. So we realized what we were best at, and that was screen printing. That was the only thing that we did in-house and could control the quality and everything.
Here now with our Entrepreneur of the Week, Matthew Wallace, the owner of Prince Inc. We're in his beautiful shop in the Phoebus section of Hampton. Matthew, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about this space.
Pretty much we've built this space to have a rustic American feel, like early American. We've done everything on a budget. We've solved everything we've done is to solve problems. Like this wall over here is plaster, it's difficult to mount to. So we just built a one-piece bar that's mounted and the shelves float to it. Got this aluminum over here off of Craigslist for 20 bucks.
No way.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed this was totally bootstrapped. I would
Yes,
not have
ma'am.
guessed that. So you started your business in 2009 and it was different than what you have today in 2015.
Yes, ma'am. We started as Farewell Design, which was kind of, our goal then was to be a one-stop shop, and it kind of spread us a bit too thin. We tried doing everything for everybody, and it didn't really work out. So we realized what we were best at, and that was screen printing. That was the only thing that we did in-house and could control the quality and everything. So in 2011, we decided to rebrand and refocus everything, put all of our energy into what is now the Prince Inc. company. And since then, it's helped us to iron out our branding, make our quality the best that it could possibly be, and it's been much more enjoyable and less stress.
What was that moment? When did you decide, wait a minute, let's do the one thing that works best for us?
Really what tipped it for us was we were contracting out some print jobs like digital printing, which we didn't do. And it wasn't up to our standards, and we wanted to continue pushing the envelope and continue to get better. And we realized that we can't do that by letting other people do the work for us. So we wanted to just trim all the fat and get rid of everything that we didn't do ourselves. And screen printing was the answer. We already had all the equipment, and just put all of our energy into that instead.
So screen printing, what is that? People think t-shirts, but it's more than that.
Yeah, pretty much it's transferring ink onto anything. Majority of it is t-shirts, but we do paper printing, we'll do business cards, we'll do posters, and then we try to have fun with it as well. And we print on wood, stone, glass. We've even printed on tortillas for tacos.
A taco, I was waiting for you to talk about
Yeah.
that.
Pretty much anything that's flat and stays still, we'll print on it.
So you make your t-shirts here on site. All your screen printing is happening here. And I'm taking a look at the t-shirts back here on this wall. some really interesting companies here. So they're not just all from Hampton Roads, they're from all over the world, aren't they?
Yes, ma'am. And that's what we're trying to do, is be world renowned, I guess you'd say. And that ties into branding. So we make sure that whatever product that we do, that we show it in the right light. And our online presence is pretty strong. So we do promote locally and nationally. So we grab all of those clients. We've tapped into like different design markets, I guess you'd say. Like there's a web form that we go onto that's strictly web design. There's one that's strictly logo design. And when we have a new product, we find a clever way to work it into that. And those people from around the world see it. And we've shipped to 40 different countries, and I don't know those people. So it's a very humbling experience. And as long as we show it in the right light and put it in the right places, everybody around the world should like it if the product is that good.
Pretty cool. What do you struggle with as an entrepreneur, as a business person?
Having the right answers, but assuming that other people do and you don't. And I don't think that there's necessarily a particular right answer. And we have problems that pop up all the time. We're a small shop, and we want to get better at everything that we do. You get frustrated with whatever the potential problem is and trying to figure out what that right answer is. And I've come down to pick something, stick with it, and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, revisit it.
So what happens now with Prince Inc.? What are your future plans, goals?
Well, we're always trying to grow, and we always want to make new and interesting things. The vibrant spaces, that sounds like pretty interesting. Hopefully we'll get that. If not, then we're probably going to stay put and take the same ideas and run with them and emphasize our retail and just keep building our quality and our capabilities.
Matthew Wallace, thank you very much. Congratulations for being the Entrepreneur of the Week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
He's the owner of $1 million company. He's been featured on Good Morning America and Shark Tank, and he's only a teenager.
I had no idea. I mean, obviously I was 13 years old. I mean, I bet most people don't even know where to go. You know, most adults wouldn't even know where to go.
Carter, congratulations on being our Entrepreneur of the Week. Your story
Thank
is
you.
truly incredible. And it starts with this. This is the Define bottle. And you're 17. I think we should start off with that. 4 years ago, it was just an idea in your head. Talk about that.
So, yeah, like you said, 13 years old, I came up with this idea. The problem was my mom, she got really into fruit-infused water, and she had one of those pitchers that you see at like hotels and spas. But whenever she left the house, she always grabbed a soda or a juice. So I wanted my mom to be able to take her favorite recipes to go. So I did some sketches on a little legal pad, on a napkin even, and pitched the idea to my parents, and here we are, 4 years later.
4 years later with a $1 million company.
Yes.
We should talk about that. First, explain to me how this works. This is so cool. And I know you mentioned to me this is what 200 iterations from that first idea
Yes.
on your napkin. But talk
It's
about how
pretty
it works
rough.
first.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is, and I can't obviously do it in full because of water, I don't have water, but you chop up your fruit, you put it in the bottom chamber right there. There's a strainer piece in the middle of the bottle which prevents your fruit from going to your mouth when you drink, so you don't get the pulp, the seeds, any of that nasty stuff in your mouth, but you still get the taste and that infusion of the fruit. And that's it. And it all comes apart, you can throw it in the dishwasher. That's the idea.
Very simple, but I know the process to get to this was anything but. How do you
Yes.
go from a teenager with an idea to something like this, even a prototype of something like this?
Well, I had no idea. I mean, obviously I was 13 years old. I mean, I bet most people don't even know where to go. You know, most adults wouldn't even know where to go. So there was a lot of help that was needed, and I went to my parents and did a couple Google searches, a couple hundred Google searches, and you know, found some people that could do prototypes, industrial designers. It took a long time and a lot of stress and a lot of hard work, but it happened.
So let's talk about some of the things along the way that helped move you in front of people. You did a lot of things right. You were on Shark Tank, and so people might remember you from that. So talk about that first.
Hello Sharks, my name is Carter Kostler. I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and my company is the Define Bottle.
Shark Tank was definitely, I think, one of the biggest catalysts for success for the Define bottle, really. You know, instantly puts you on a national stage. You know, we did $250,000 in sales the night that it aired.
Wow.
That was a great experience. It was terrifying,
Right.
obviously, in front of the Sharks. So young and
and you didn't take the deal, so
I did not,
You didn't
no.
even take the deal, and you got that kind of exposure and
Right.
the sales from it.
yeah, crazy experience. Denied the 40% deal, but you know, I ended up on top. You know, on top of the $250,000 in sales that night, we got emails from tons of people who were interested, tons of venture capitalists, tons of people who said, "Hey, I want your bottle in my store. I want your bottle here, there." So it blew up. It really did.
So talk about where you can be seen. I know you've got a pretty robust website where you can purchase these, but you're in Target, you're in Dick's, we can find you on HSN. So how did you get in those places? And I think your strategy for doing that is so great. So talk about that.
Well, really, for Target, for example, I just went on LinkedIn, and I was kind of wishful thinking. I just messaged the buyers for Target, the product buyers, and my strategy was to get into the produce section for Target. And you know, the super Targets, they have those, you know, with the produce section with a lot of fruit. And my thought was, hey, put it in the produce section. People will make the mental connection. Hey, there's fruit right here. There's the bottle. So have the bottle in a little stand or something right there. And I pitched that idea in my short little email, thinking that I'd never hear anything back. You know, I'm you know, just messaging a Target buyer.
Sent an email, right?
Right, and it happened within about a week, 10 days. I got a response back saying, "Let's fly you to Minnesota, you and your family, and you know, let's talk business."
Awesome. Carter, great to talk with you.
Thank you
and
very much.
congratulations on being our Entrepreneur of the Week.
Thank you very much.
That wraps up another edition of Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Like us on Facebook and Instagram at HR Business Weekly.
There, you will find segments from previous shows, plus some great behind-the-scenes pictures and videos. For Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We'll see you next week.
Hampton Roads Business Weekly, sponsored by Regent University and produced by ABC 13.